Well, of course, we are waiting for that first printout, and it's not going to come for a while because we ran out of ballots at so many polling places across Oahu. Neighbor islands all closed. Everything's fine there. It's Oahu.
And, of course, it's a lot of interest in the mayor's race, but there are a lot of other races as well. We want to go back to Kenny Choi now. He's got some more news. Of course, he's at the Republican headquarters tonight. Kenny.
Djou, thank you so much. We're joined by Pat Saiki. A lot of people are familiar with Miss Saiki, who served 2 terms in Congress. First of all, good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Tell us how the campaign is feeling right now. We're just a few, minutes or not that far away from the first printout.
Well, Charles Djou is a very optimistic fellow. His whole campaign has been very positive. So we've worked very hard to encourage people to give him a chance to serve again as a member of Congress. He served once, after the special election, but he deserves to go back.
We saw these 2 candidates competing for this seat before, once in 2010 during the special election, and then 6 months later during the general election. What makes you think that the people of Hawaii have decided to change their minds again? Because right now it's 1-to-1.
Well, basically, I think people like to have a challenge. They like to have honest-to-goodness candidates run against each other and have a choice. And Charles Djou has served once. Second try is always good, and I think he'll make it.
Charles was telling me about a week and a half ago, decided to spend some time with him, get to know him a little bit as a candidate. He told me that back in, I believe it was 1986, I could be wrong about that year, but he helped you, and he was actually an intern. Tell us about what he did for you in your campaign.
He'll tell you the truth. He says he licked stamps, he licked envelopes. He did all the grunt work that's necessary in a campaign. But I think he observed and he learned a lot. Today he is a polished politician, a polished member of Congress.
Miss Saiki, I can finally hear you now that the music has stopped, so a little bit easier. Tell us a little bit about Charles and what you saw in him back then when you worked with him.
Well, he was an aggressive, intelligent, and curious person. And that always leads to good judgment, because someone who listens, who wants to understand the problem, makes a good candidate, makes a good person who serves in government. And I think that Charles can fulfill that. He really had all that potential at the time.
Any concern about the numbers that came out recently? CivilBeat.com reporting that Djou trailing Hanabusa by 11 points.
Well, those were the polls that you saw. We saw our own polls. And our polls,
and what do they say?
He was ahead. He was slim, but he was ahead. He was not trailing by 11. That was skewed with Democrat votes.
Ms. Saiki, thanks so much for joining us. It's a little bit loud here, but thank you so much, and we'll check back in with you in a little bit.
Thank you very much.
Yunji, Paula, we're going to send it back to you from the latest here at the Lingle headquarters. Djou will be joining us in a little bit as well.
All right. Thank you so much.